Welcome back to the political segment of the weekend show. Today we're discussing the importance of debates in the electoral process. Debates in Nigeria have not been giving adequate attention. Leaders are chosen without the opinions of the electorate. They haven't been challenged enough to come and tell us their blueprint plan, their policies, and reveal to us what their plans are for Nigerians. However, there has been a lot of discussions about the necessity of debates in Nigeria. A lot of media houses have talked about making this mandatory for politicians to debate these issues. Joining us on today's program, we have Baye, who is a legislative aide. We also have with us a gubernatorial candidate from Enugu State, Mr. Chibueze Onah, and very lastly, Stanley Nwabia. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on today's program.
Thank you for having us.
Stanley, as a political analyst, what is your thought on debate? How important, how integral is debating to our electoral process?
I think debates are like a mirror that shows you the soul of every candidate. It tells you what the candidate has in store for the people. It gives you an idea of what to expect if you go out into the sun and you queue for that person. So that's basically what debates should be. The first time I saw a debate was I think it was in 1992. I think I was in JSS2, JSS3, MKO debating with Tofa. It was a very interesting debate. They were not exceptional candidates per se, but it gave you an idea of what to expect, of what these guys would do if we give them that opportunity. So I think debates are very important, but my problem is that it seems that Nigeria has witnessed a backward development in terms of debate. One would have expected that from 1992, when we had SDP, NRC, that would have created a very strong political culture of debates. But that hasn't happened. Right now, we have candidates that are debate shy. We now have to beg our governor or our president to come out and debate. And even when there's a debate, we have a society where people seem to have made up their minds already. So if there's a debate today and President Buhari comes to the debate and sings A, B, C, D, E, F, G, those who want to vote for him will still vote for him. Because our minds are made up. The things that make us decide to vote for someone are now so basic, so ordinary. It's no longer intellectual. That's my own opinion. So.
Just to talk with that, knowing for a fact that debate is has no significance to deciders when it comes to election in Nigeria, do you think that presently in Nigeria, that Nigerians are ready to actually pick a leader via the debate platform?
Let us not deceive ourselves. The two top candidates now are not Obama. They are not great orators per se. So even if both of them debate, I don't think it's going to be too exciting.
Okay.
But we need to see them speak. We need to have a taste of what they can do. The other day we heard the First Lady tell us that two men are stopping her president.
Two powerful men.
Two powerful men are stopping her husband from doing well. Fine. Let us have a debate so that when you come on air, we'll ask you, please, is anybody going to disturb you if we vote for you? You know?
Okay.
So that there will be no stories, no excuses. So that whatever claim you make on that debate, when we vote for you, you will not deny it. You will not say that it was somebody in Southwest that wrote something down for you. Say it with your mouth, I will do X, Y, Z. Your guests earlier on that were talking about disabilities and all that. Let's have a debate where a candidate will come and say, okay, I'm going to do this for disabled people.
With disabilities.
I will do this, I will do that. He will say with his mouth, we'll have the records, it's going to be on YouTube. If we vote for you, and you don't do it, you cannot deny it.
But what happens in a situation where, for instance, we have the Kano State governor who was caught on camera taking bribes, and he said his media aide said he was cloned? So what happens if they make a promise on national television on camera, and tomorrow they say, no, I didn't really say that. It was edited to make it seem like I did.
Tell them to go and bring the person that said it now.
Douglas, let me bring you in here. You're a legislative aide. There were discussions whether to legalize debates, in the sense that whether there should be a bill that would mandate debates in Nigeria. Is there any progress in that, and is it feasible? Because we have the Nigerian election debates, electoral debate group, the NEDG, which is currently operating as just an advocacy group for debates. However, is there a possibility of legalizing this through the system?
Yeah, if you follow the events in the National Assembly, in the previous assembly, that's the seventh assembly, a bill in that regard trying to make government set up a commission to own a debate was sponsored by Senator Ojudu, the present political advisor to the president. It didn't see the light of the day. There was another bill in this current assembly, the 8th assembly, sponsored by Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari from Oyo State, still trying to ensure government, a commission, a political debate commission is set up. But when stakeholders came in, because before a bill is passed, it goes through 3 readings. And after the second reading, the public opinion, a public hearing is held where stakeholders come and throw more light on the feasibility or otherwise of the bill. And what most of the stakeholders enumerated was that if the government owns a commission, public debate commission, it might be compromised. So I think I told their part, because most times if government political office holders from the government side are going to participate in a debate that is conducted by the government, I believe some questions will be asked beforehand, and also I also believe that the process might not be termed free and fair by the opponent. So I honestly don't think it's a bill that might pass through, because as it's currently being held as the Nigeria debates, Nigeria Electoral Debates Group, NEDG. I believe it should be strengthened. I believe civil society organizations and donor agencies should try as much as they can to strengthen what is currently
But that has also been accused of partisanship as well, because the Bond chairman, John Momo, who is also the chairman of Channels Television, has been accused of favoriting or showing favoritism to the All Progressive Congress over the PDP. So there have been a lot of conversations on Twitter led by this gentleman and some other people who have made that accusation. So even with an independent body such as NEDG, these accusations are still rife. So let me bring you here, Chibueze. You are running for governor in Enugu State. How important do you think debating will be to your constituents? Do you believe that with you and your fellow gubernatorial candidates speaking about your policy, speaking about your manifesto, it would get you more votes than you presently envision you'll get?
All right. I would say, because before now, politics is all about ideas, and you compete for ideas, and it's supposed to be politics of ideas and not attacking personalities. So what has happened, my view on if the debate would, if I would support the debate, I would say that for us, we should have a credible platform where ideas are sold to the electorate. We should have a platform like the debate, but not the one being proposed by the National Assembly, the bill, because I would align myself to what INEC and some other civil society organizations say, that it is something that when it's done, then you would find people accuse the commission of supporting, because supporting the present government, because when you find out some government establishments that are supposed to be interfacing with the public have always in the past, who have not really got it right, they have always in the past done things that would appear that they are supporting the government of the day. So I would say that debate, it has really helped them, because we have people we call the undecided voters. So these people, all they want to see is they want to see the policies. It's not just the policy, because everybody can come and say anything. What we have done and what we intend to see in a debate is the hows. If you tell us you need to create jobs, we'll have to interrogate you, tell you, how are you going to do that? Okay. If you say you would provide security, how? Because we've had it in Nigeria where we find people who we took it to their past records, and we thought because they've occupied certain positions, we took it for granted that they understand the house. If I give you an example, our current president, when he was voted in 2015, it was taken for granted that as a former military general, that he would be very easy for him to tackle insurgency and the issue of Boko Haram. But you saw that otherwise, what we are seeing now is his position that we took for granted has only insulated even the army generals, and we have more killings than we had in previous administration. So what I would say is that electoral debate should be a place where people share their blueprints, where people share their ideas, and it will help the voters to make decisions on how much these people understand the problem. And I will also say that the electoral debate is as good as the questioning and the organization of that debate. Because if we come with a very shallow question, and in the end you will find some eloquent speakers and they emerge victorious, like they've said good things, but nobody has asked them how are you going to do those things. So I take it that is something that is a welcome development to debate your policies and your blueprints.
Okay, talking about the House, Stanley, you know Nigeria presently, where we are at the ratings for unemployment. Where do you think the government, present, and the incoming government for 2019 can push to actually see that unemployment is something of the past for the Nigerian populace?
And as an addendum to that, you are a member of the People's Democratic Party. Atiku Abubakar, presidential flag bearer, has claimed that he will create 3 million jobs. How would he do that?
Okay, let me just start by saying this, right? I am of the opinion that Nigeria needs, right now, we need a CEO as president. Okay. Not a class captain. President Buhari, I'm sorry to say, is a class captain. And what the class captain does is to write the name of noisemakers. You are corrupt, you are corrupt, you are corrupt. That's the class captain. But we need a CEO that understands business. Atiku understands business. There's a track record. You can trace his businesses, you can trace what he has done, his achievement. He has over 50,000 staff. So he knows how to create jobs. In 2015, when we were shouting, say Baba, there was nothing. There was no business. Or we just heard of some cows that were somewhere. That was it. Well, if you put these two men together, someone is telling you that I have built a business over decades, billion-dollar businesses. I have staff of over 500,000. The staff are there. Over 50,000. They are there. Go and see them. So he understands how to create jobs. Like I said earlier, he might not be an eloquent speaker. We've never really had the gift in this country of having presidents that are eloquent per se, except maybe IBB. He was a very good speaker, I think. Okay. But I don't think we've had any that way.
Isn't that the issue? If, as a presidential candidate, you don't have the composure, you don't have the ability to
it's not about
express yourself.
You could have a politician that can blow sweet grammar but cannot do anything. We have them, even in the Senate, in the House of Reps. They can blow grammar, kini with phone, well, nothing. While we have those who might not talk too much, but they can show you their track record. And I think
you're making a case for President Buhari, because President Buhari might not necessarily be the most eloquent speaker.
Cool down. There's no track record. That's the problem. If he was in power, when we were shouting "Save Baba," Nigeria was not the poverty capital of the world. When we were shouting "Save Baba," we were still Africa's top FDI destination. That was in 2015. Fast forward, 3 years later, Nigeria is in a mess. We are now the poverty capital of the world.
But you can't solely attribute that to this administration.
Definitely,
but I don't want us,
definitely. But the buck stops at someone's table.
Most definitely. I don't want us to digress from the issue. The issue of communicating your agenda is very important.
Fine.
And I believe that
there are two. Sorry.
Go ahead.
There are two angles to it. There is the communication, then there's the implementation. In 2015, APC was able to communicate fantastic ideas, and a lot of people bought it, but they were not able, they have not been able to implement anything. Now they are doing trade bond leadership, people 10,000 for God knows what.
You can't say they haven't been able to implement anything.
We have, no,
there are some achievements of the administration.
That's why we are in an economic mess, because they've not achieved anything. Anything.
Let me bring you in here. That's not true. Let me bring you here in, Douglas. Still sticking with the topic of debate. We've established the fact that it's integral for a candidate to be able to shape his blueprint plan and communicate that effectively to his constituency. Most especially because we've seen politicians come into power and say, oh, no, I didn't make that promise of creating 3 million jobs. I didn't make that promise of building more railway lines. I didn't make that promise of, you know, opening more seaports. So how do we ensure that politicians do debate and Nigerians, we can hold them accountable?
Firstly, we need as much CSOs and independent broadcasters to bring these political candidates on board for debates. I must commend you for firstly trying to organize a symposium which brought some of the leading candidates, though the PDP sent article spokesperson, why I think the APC, they were conspicuously absent from debates. But what we saw from the symposium which you organized was a situation whereby we could extract some level of commitment from those people who want to attain for political office. And there's something about debate. It exposes the agenda of the individual, because when the government will eventually be formed, some ministers, some people who will eventually be ministers will not vote in the election. There will be some expatriate ministers. There are some ministers in the present cabinet that were not card-carrying members of the APC. They never even voted for Buhari. They were outside the country. So it's going to, a debate gives a platform for the candidate himself to own his own programs, to tell us his blueprint, and let the people, the electorate, x-ray his competence, his capacity, and watch his temperament, because that's the only opportunity candidates have to line up with themselves. Debates doesn't necessarily produce winners in Nigeria, but what he does, it's telling the people the preparedness of the candidates for the office in which they vie to occupy.
Okay, Chibueze, as a rider to that, do you think there should be any consequence if an electoral candidate is found wanting or being absent during a debate?
Oh yes, I would say that if a candidate cannot, because I see debate as a job interview. You want the highest job in the land, and it's just like you going saying I wouldn't attend an interview and you still want the job. And the part of the process of getting the job is that you must be interviewed. So there should be a consequence, yes, because if you don't show up for a debate, obviously, Nigerians should understand that you don't have no business ruling us, because that's the need. That's the only opportunity we have to interrogate your blueprints, because you cannot come from nowhere saying you can't debate, you can't come for a debate. I think it should be enshrined in the Electoral Act that there must be a debate, because that is the only opportunity we have to interrogate these people, interrogate their blueprints. Okay. When you talk about, for example, if you say like in Enugu, we said something about creating jobs and what have you, helping developing the MSMEs. We had something, we said to them, listen, it's not just creating jobs through MSMEs. If you go to the building sites today, you find out like you have people from the sub-African countries, Togo, wherever, being the best in POP, being the best in Thailand, and this is not something, this is not a certified course. This is something our people can just go in for a training. So we did say to them, listen, we build MSME technical institutions in different places where people go in and get trained for free and get seed money so that they will get, they will become entrepreneurs and they'll have something doing. So an interview, a job, a debate should be able to, we should as Nigerians, and I think National Orientation Agency has a job to play here, because I think in all these, National Orientation Agency has been played down. And this is supposed to be where it should be an agency that should be informing Nigerians from the unbiased point. This is what you look at.
Chibueze, thank you so much. Stanley, Douglas, unfortunately we're out of time, but would love to invite the three of you back again on the program. We hope you will exceed then. We'll take a break right now. When we return, we'll bring you the sports segment of the weekend show as well as the entertainment segment. Don't go anywhere.